orang yang bakal marah sih.
After Wahyu's death, his family requests that his death not be made public and asks the old age home to handle his funeral arrangements. Later, Adil asks Sita why she didn't kill Wahyu when they first met, noting that she let him live for so long. To which Sita replies that this isn't about revenge, but something more important. She then enters the grave, and Adil gives her a camera with infrared capabilities for seeing in the dark. He instructs her to holler if she needs to get out, as he can hear her through the pipe. After this, Sita lies down next to Wahyu's dead body, and Adil covers the grave. We then see Adil waiting outside as a snake approaches him. Meanwhile, Sita notices that the pipe has been covered with soil, and outside, startled by the snake, Adil becomes uneasy. Sita sets the camera aside to keep recording in case anything happens, and the scene shifts to the next morning, when Adil uncovers the grave to get Sita out. Sita reviews the recording and finds nothing unusual, and when Adil asks how she feels, she responds that she might feel better once it's truly over. Later, while Sita is in the laundry, a washing machine turns on by itself. Confused, she checks it and unplugs it to stop it. She then reveals her identity and purpose to the elders at the old age home, and Haiti says he will believe when he sees proof. She also discloses Ilhama's identity and his actions, and another elder tells her to let him know if she needs anything, to which Sita says he once said he could ask her daughter to invite her on her TV show. On the show, Sita exposes Wahyu and declares that if religion exists and people are punished for their deeds on earth, Wahyu Sutama will be among the first to be tortured. She reveals that she had herself buried with him to witness it, and requests the producer to play the video she had given him. When the recording is played, Sita is shocked to see it's not the footage she provided. She rushes to the producer, insisting that the memory card isn't the one she gave him. She accuses him of switching the cards and questions how much Wahyu's children paid him to not play the real video, to which the producer insists that it is indeed her card and hands her card over to her. Sita confronts Adil, accusing him of switching the memory card, to which Adil denies it, saying he's always dragged into her problems. Sita reminds him he never took action since childhood, and if she hadn't stepped in, he'd be a wreck. Frustrated, Adil claims he's already a wreck because of her, to which Sita counters, saying she raised them both after their parents' death. Adil blames her for their deaths, saying if she hadn't told their father about the thieves, they'd still be alive. Sita argues she told him because he did nothing, calling him a coward. She tells Adil he never made her feel protected, and everything she's done was for their parents and him. Adil accuses her of doing it all for herself and questions her sincerity towards the people at the nursing home. He asks if, now that she has what she wanted from them, will she go back and care for them sincerely? Later, while Sita is lost in her thoughts, she hears Wahyu calling her name, which startles her. Confused, she goes to his room to check but finds no one there. However, as she closes the door to leave, Wahyu calls her name again, prompting her to open the door once more. Looking around, she spots a demonic figure standing in the corner, but when she enters the room to investigate, the figure disappears. She notices the soil on Wahyu's table, and as Wahyu calls her name again, she sees a demonic hand on the window. But when she checks, no one is there. Suddenly, a demonic figure points her in a direction, leading Sita to find Nanny standing there. Sita rushes over and asks Nanny what happened, to which Nanny reveals that her husband is cheating on her in that room. Sita goes to the room and is shocked to find Pandy with Lainey. Pandy emerges from the room and apologizes to Nanny, but she tells him not to come near her. Nanny, heartbroken, says they've been together for 50 years and asks how he could do this to her. Sita suggests to Pandy that it's best if Nanny sleeps alone tonight, but Pandy responds that she shouldn't handle things on her own since she's careless and clumsy. When Nanny returns to her room, she is overcome with distress. She soils her gown and then throws up, overwhelmed by the betrayal and the emotional turmoil. She goes to the laundry to wash her dress, placing it in the washing machine. However, when she tries to start it, the machine doesn't respond. Realizing it's unplugged, she plugs it in, and as she does so, she notices that her ring is missing from her finger. Nanny, in a frantic search for her missing ring, believes it may have fallen into the washing machine with her clothes. Determined to retrieve it, she leans inside the machine, but as she tries to climb back out, she accidentally activates the machine. The drum begins spinning, trapping her halfway, with her body partly inside and partly outside the machine. The machine eventually stops, but Nanny's hair becomes tangled in the spinning mechanism. She struggles to free herself, but the machine jerks violently, pulling her hair and, tragically, the skin of her face into the drum. Later, as Pandy mourns his wife's tragic death, Sita is startled by hearing Wahyu calling her name again. Confused and uneasy, she heads to the laundry to check, where a demonic figure appears, and Sita jolts awake from her sleep, feeling deeply unsettled. Hearing Pandy's cries, Sita rushes to his room, where he tearfully says he told her Nanny was clumsy, and asks why she left her alone. He expresses regret, saying he needs to apologize to her as he wants to be at peace before he dies. Sita approaches Juwita and mentions that she often claims to hear the dead. Juwita says she knows she doesn't believe her, to which Sita replies that she'll believe it when she sees it with her own eyes. Juwita then says she won't be able to see if she doesn't believe, to which Sita says what matters is that people here believe, and asks, "Can you help me?" Juwita then performs a seance, calling upon the wandering spirits who still have unresolved matters with the living. After a while, Haiti informs Pandy that Ganda is standing next to him, and Pandy tells Ganda that he looks younger. Juwita then calls out to Nanny, saying her husband has something to say to her. Suddenly, the wind begins to blow, and Juwita collapses. She starts speaking in Nanny's voice, addressing Pandy, who immediately begins apologizing to her, saying his heart will forever be restless if she doesn't forgive him. Nanny responds that they will never see each other again, not even after death, unless he kills the woman who seduced him. Hearing this, Sati tells Juwita this isn't right, to which Juwita replies that she can see without needing her eyes. She just has to believe. Everyone present begins chanting, urging Sita to believe. Hesitantly, Sita closes her eyes, and when she does, she starts to see everyone sitting there, but she is horrified when she sees Nanny sitting right next to her. Panicked, she opens the curtains and announces, "It's time for lunch." Everyone gets up and leaves the room, but as they do, Sita hears Adil calling her name. Shocked, she realizes it's Juwita, speaking in Adil's voice, and Adil tells her that he's scared and pleads for her to help Ismail. She calls Adil to check on him, who tells her that he is working. In the next scene, Adil is preparing to bathe a corpse. However, in the background, we see the corpse standing upright, unnoticed by him. When he finally turns around, he's horrified to discover that the body is no longer on the table. Panicked, Adil tries to flee, but the door is locked, and when he tries to look around, he sees the dead body walking. Terrified, he rushes into his locker to hide, and after a few tense moments, when he cautiously peeks out, he finds the corpse standing right in front of him. He then comes face to face with two more dead bodies inside, and the scene cuts with his screams echoing through the room. Meanwhile, Lainey confides in Sita about never receiving attention since her parents were gone. Sita replies, "So were mine," to which Lainey counters, "But they loved you." Lainey admits she enjoyed Pandy's attention, but suddenly Pandy attacks her with a knife, and Sita quickly intervenes, saving Lainey. She tells Lainey to run. However, as Lainey runs, Hades stabs her with the knife. She collapses, and a shocked Sita exclaims that she will call an ambulance. But Lainey says living is exhausting anyway, and in a moment of despair, she repeatedly stabs herself to hasten the process. Hades declares that Lainey is an adulterer and that adulterers must be punished. Sita asks why, to which Hadi responds that grave torture exists, which means hell exists too, and he doesn't want to suffer in his grave. Sita asks, who said that grave torture exists, to which he simply points outside. Rushing outside, Sita finds breaking news about teenagers who recorded grave torture. One explains they were curious after the nursing home lady claimed it was a lie, and their recording proved her wrong. Sita quickly changes the channel, discovering all news outlets report the same story, with spiritual advisors thanking her as the belief in grave torture spreads widely among the public. Juwita tells Sita that the world has changed because of her, to which Sita asks, how could a wretched man like Wahyu lie peacefully in his grave? She heads to the graveyard and begins digging up Wahyu's grave, only to discover that his body is missing. And suddenly, she falls into the grave as it starts to collapse behind her. Desperate to save herself, she begins digging a hole and calls out for Adil to help her. After a struggle, she manages to crawl out through the hole, but to her shock, she finds herself in a dark tunnel. As she looks around, she hears a demonic voice whispering something. She stands up, trying to convince herself that she must be hallucinating, and declares there will always be a way out. As she moves forward, the demonic voice echoes again, and she suddenly hears it right behind her. But when she turns around, no one is there. She then hears someone crying, and when she asks who it is, the voice replies, Ismail, pleading for her to help him. Terrified, Sita tries to flee, but after running for a while, she sees Adil crying as he bathes a corpse. Confused, she approaches him, but Adil doesn't respond. Just as she gets closer, Adil calls out her name from behind her, and the corpse says, "Don't you see?" causing Sita to panic and flee in terror. Trying to convince herself that she's hallucinating due to a lack of oxygen, she unexpectedly finds herself in her bakery, and before she can process what's happening, she suddenly grabs the hand of a thief. Then she sees the spirits of her parents outside and releases the thief's hand. Overwhelmed with emotion, Sita cries out, "I'm sorry," and her parents bid her a final goodbye before vanishing. Sita then returns to the tunnel, where she sees a group of kids who tell her they're scared and ask for her help, along with Ismail. She asks how she can help him, and suddenly remembers Juwita's words that she doesn't need eyes to see, she just has to believe. Sita closes her eyes, and in the next moment, she sees an exit. But just then, a demon appears before her. Terrified, Sita tries to flee, only to find the kids blocking her path again. Determined, she approaches Ismail, who asks why she left him, saying he's scared. Sita asks, who is he scared of? To which he points upward, and she sees a demonic Wahyu crawling toward them. Grabbing Ismail's hand, she runs away, but after a while, Ismail stops and tells her to jump into a pit. He thanks her for helping him and assures her there will be no more victims after this. As Sita sees Wahyu laughing and moving toward them, she runs and jumps into the pit, only to find herself back in the grave with Wahyu. She calls out for Adil's help, and as she tries to reach for a pipe, a snake suddenly emerges and falls onto her. It crawls over Wahyu's body, and Sita watches in horror as it enters his mouth. In a moment of instinct, she grabs her camera and starts recording, horrified, as Wahyu comes back to life and sits up. The grave then begins to shake violently, and a demonic voice echoes before Wahyu's face is smashed by a mace. In shock, Sita sees Wahyu's face reform, only to be smashed again. A massive, multi-headed snake then starts relentlessly attacking his face. But even after being badly beaten, Wahyu's face keeps returning to its original form. Then an angel appears before him in a demonic guise and asks, "Who is your god?" Seeing this, Sita gets terrified and says she wants to repent. And in the background, we hear Wahyu's screams as the angel tortures him. She then hears Adil saying a prayer, asking God for forgiveness of all sins, and Sita starts to repeat the prayers. Eventually, Adil uncovers the grave and helps Sita escape, just as the grave collapses behind them. As they are leaving, Adil suddenly collapses and says he can't go on, but Sita insists that they have to live and helps him to his feet. Just as they begin to move again, a voice asks her, "Who is your god?" And the scene cuts to black. At the end, we see Wahyu's video playing on his phone. Nanny closes the cover, and Pandy gently tells her that it's late, and she should come to bed, because they are going on a picnic tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.